Hello out there, social media. Lamper Fox. I don't like to toot my own horn, brag about myself, that type of thing. But I figured it was, a good time. Seems how a friend of ours named Klaus was at the bowling meet and told me that he enjoys my battery videos on the solar panels, and we talked for a while, so I figured, well, last year at MFF, I was coming down the hall. My wife was my handler, and I was in land pursuit. A gentleman stopped and asked, if he could get my picture, and it's like, well, yeah, sure, So I let him take the picture. He thanked me, and then he proceeded to thank me for the videos I made on Facebook, where we built the shed, project number 1. He said that it gave him inspiration. He thanked me for doing it because it really inspired him. And I didn't realize, that I made that much of a difference. No one really responded to the video, so I didn't. I just like making videos, and I don't try to make fancy videos. I just do whatever. I'm goofy that way. But it struck home. It was like, wow, I've reached one person. I made one person's life a little better. And same thing with Klaus here, talking about the battery bank on the solar power for the shed. So I thought I'd like to make a shout out to all you that are silent watchers, don't say anything or get active. I never realized you guys are out there, and I had followers and fans. So, but this video is to thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I know I can be a real dink and an asshole on Facebook at times, but hey, I'm just being mean. I'm doing it to relieve stress, like a lot of people do. But there's no excuses. People need people, and you guys inspire me to keep going with the videos. Thanks, Klaus. I'm going to try to get a video going on my battery bank later today. Batteries are getting kind of I boiled them. I don't have the proper charger to boil them, so they never really boiled all that good. Excuse me. It brought them back to life for a little bit. They lasted about 3-4 days, and then they just started tanking again. Charging 6 batteries in a bank with those type of batteries just isn't good. Those batteries aren't meant for that purpose. They are basically a car battery. I'm cycling them through cycles being discharge, charge, discharge, charge. They only have so many of them in them to begin with, and when you get them used, they're losing, already lost a lot of life. So we've been milking them. We've gotten 9 months out of these freaking batteries, so they've lasted us a while. We just got 2 fresh ones added this weekend from our friend that gives them to us. I'm going to check the water on them. I'm going to see that they're up to charge, and I'm going to try to run 2 to 4 batteries. I found that when you go much over 4 to 6 batteries, when you get over that threshold there with these type of batteries, it's hard to balance the batteries. Not all the batteries aren't going to charge evenly. You're going to have one battery charging more than the other. Works real easy with them, especially with some of the smaller jumpers. Now I've said that don't matter. When I'm discharging to the cabin, I'm running a inverter, a 300 watt inverter, which runs a small fan and a TV. Between the two of them, they're 100 watts, roughly, give or take, and a couple of 20 watt, camper lights out of old travel trailers. We have a travel trailer that's just a storage unit out here that the lights weren't needed in. My brother can use them in there for lighting, so we cut them out and we wired them in the cabin. So there's about 6 of them. We have 2 map lights from an old Ford van that are up in the loft part, so you can see upstairs. That's all, that's all the more power that's being used. So I don't need huge cables to run in there. But what I should have is large cables from post to post on the battery for the sole purpose of charging. because the smaller it is, the higher the resistance. The power is not going to go through the smaller wires, it's going to go through the bigger wires. Path of least resistance. Electric loves having no resistance. It loves to flow freely, so it goes through the bigger wires, which doesn't let those batteries with the smaller jumpers get charged as much. So uneven charge, that will kill batteries too. So as I'm sitting here in the woods out here, I'm making a video to thank Klaus and others who are watching. May not say anything, but they're paying attention. I'm glad I'm helping somebody out. And I just like making them because it gives me something to do. I mean, come on, my back is screwed up. I can't work. So I got to do something. So my videos and different stuff helps me occupy my time in retirement, I guess, if you can call it retirement. But anyways, I will see you guys out there later. Look for us at some meets. We got the camp out coming up, so if any of you decide to show up for that, more than welcome. The bowling meets, you know, last weekend of every month, Saturday. Please join them. We got pretty big crowds. Everybody has fun. There's dancing and stuff going on. Just like you know, I like the fact that you guys reached out and told me you're watching the videos and you liked them, or didn't like them, or you know, something about them. You say, hey, have you tried this? You know, give me information. I'm learning this solar stuff and these batteries as I go. I've learned a lot. I've come a long ways, and I'm passing on my knowledge as I learn it to you. So like I say, don't run a whole bunch of batteries if you're starting out. Run the bigger cables if you got them. You don't need huge cables if you're running a real small load into the house, but cables should all be similar diameter. If you're going to run a bunch of small ones, then run a bunch of small ones. It's going to take you forever to charge. You run the risk of heating up the wires and melting them if you got a large load or you're charging, you know, heavily. Otherwise, you don't need great big cables to do small stuff. If you're just doing a camper, most campers have a small 12 to 16 gauge wire in them, and they run 20, 30, 40 feet. So, and sometimes they run further than that because they run down one side and back up the other, and that runs the lights, a cigarette lighter adapter thing. So there's a huge draw. They do okay. Yeah, less resistance. You're not starting a semi at the other end of your jumper cables in a small cabin or camper. You're turning on a couple of lights. That's why you don't see great big battery cable sized wires running through your entire vehicle, because it's not necessary. You're not drawing that much power. If you got a main lead coming in and you have a bunch of circuits off that main lead, then yeah, by all means you're going to want a big cable. But like I said, I got a couple small things in the cabin that don't run a whole lot of power. I don't need big cables. I do need big cables between the batteries for charging purposes. Discharging out to the system, not really, but to charge them up, yeah. So, you know, put your money into your jumpers to the thing, and then you can go a slightly smaller cable to your feed. Now, if you're going to run an entire house and you're running a big system, then yeah, go with what they recommend. Go with the fucking aught cable, the 1, the 2. But, you know, for my purposes, 12, 16. You know, I run 8 gauge to make jumpers with. It is expensive. I found a place you can get it for $2 a foot. If I can keep my jumper small, then it ain't so bad. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Catch you out there.